Friends, how do you feel when you have to ask for help in your organization? Do you dread asking for help because you will be labeled as incompetent? Do you fear asking for help because you will be labeled as somebody who does not know his job? Well, if the answer to this question is yes, then you are not alone. Now, this happens in many organizations, and a lot depends on the company culture also. Friends, here I would like to share my story. I started my career with this very aggressive American organization where asking for help meant that you're incompetent. Where asking for help meant that somewhere it would be put in your appraisal that you don't know your job. So I always used to think 10 times before reaching out to anybody to ask for help. But friends, over the years, I've realized one thing, that whatever be your company culture, your communication skills matter if you have to ask for help. The way you word your message when you're asking for help matters a lot. If you just send out a simple message saying that, hey, urgent, I need help ASAP, it's not going to work. The words which you use when you're asking for help verbally, or the words which you use in your email when asking for help, are going to matter. So friends, in this video, I'm going to talk about 3 situations where you would like to ask for help. Situation number 1 would be where it is extremely urgent. You need the information as of yesterday. Otherwise, it would be damaging to the client, damaging to your reputation. Situation number 2 is when you are stuck. You can't move forward without help. And situation number 3 is when you just need some more information. Now, in all these 3 situations, the way you word your email, the way you word what you are speaking and asking for help will matter a lot. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to cover these situations one by one. Let me take you to my screen where I'll cover situation number 1 first. Friends, let's take situation number 1 when it is extremely urgent. Now, when I say urgent means that if you don't take action immediately, it could be a revenue loss for you and your client, or it could be a reputation lost for either you, your company, or your client. Now, what do you do in such a case? Well, you could send out a message with the subject line urgent, 2 or 3 exclamation marks, and please help. Very common, I've seen. But this is not the best way of doing things. What do you do in such a case? Friends, a better urgent message includes 2 things: urgency plus relevant context. I'll repeat that: urgency plus relevant context. But friends, don't give too much of context. Just give enough information to understand what's happening and what you need. Now, this may require a little bit of typing on your part, but it saves the recipient's time. Now, let's take a couple of examples. Now, instead of saying urgent, exclamation mark, fix this checkout page ASAP. A better way of doing this would be urgent, checkout is returning 500 errors for users. Can you get on this now? Let me know once it's fixed. Right? A better way, it has the urgency and the relevant context. Let's take another one. Please help ASAP. Now, I have seen this so often, but a better way of doing this would be the login flow isn't loading on staging. Could you help with this before 3 p.m.? That's a better way of doing it. You've given the urgency and the relevant context, right? What is the relevant context out here? The login flow isn't loading on staging. Could you help before 3 p.m.? That's the urgency, right? Let's understand some useful phrases with the format and the example. You could say urgent, mention the issue, is blocking, mention the task user client, can someone take a look now? Example, urgent, the export issue is blocking the client report. Can someone take a look now? That is format number 1, which you could use. Number 2, we've blocked on, mention the issue. Who's the right person to loop in? Example, we've blocked on the access issue. Who's the right person to loop in? Let's take another one. Could someone help unblock this before, mention the time deadline? Could someone help unblock this before today's client call? Let's take a couple of more. Can someone jump in on, mention the issue? We need to resolve it before, mention the deadline. Can someone jump in on the permissions issue? We need to resolve it before the handoff. Last one in this section. I am seeing, mention the problem. Is anyone available to help troubleshoot? I am seeing duplicate records in the CRM. Is anyone available to help troubleshoot? So friends, that is section number 1, when you need immediate help, right? Let's move on to section number 2, when you are stuck. Now this may not be as important as section number 1, but you are stuck and you really can't move forward without seeking help. What are some of the rules here? When you ask for help in this situation, friends, you need to do 2 things. Show what you already tried, plus ask a specific question. Let me repeat that, friends. Show what you already tried and ask a specific question. Now, this helps people understand where you are and saves them from suggesting things that you've already checked out, right? So show them what you've already tried and ask a specific question. Let's take an example. Can someone help with the API setup? Right? Now, instead of that, you can say, I'm stuck on the API setup. I checked the docs and tried refreshing the token, but I'm still getting a 401 error. What else should I check? Now, what have you done differently in this? You have told everybody what you have already tried and you have asked a specific question. Now, people already know what you have tried and they are not going to suggest that again. Otherwise, emails will just go back and forth and there will be a loss of productivity, right? Let's take another one. Instead of, does anyone know how to update the user role? You could try, I'm trying to update the user role, but the change isn't saving. I've tried refreshing it, but it doesn't work. Could this be a backend issue? What have you done out here? You mentioned what you have already tried, and then you're asking a specific question. Now, friends, one more tip in dealing with situation number 2. Avoid asking about your guest solution before explaining the real problem. This is, friends, called the XY problem. You want to solve X, but you think Y is the solution. So you ask about Y instead of explaining X. Now, let's take an example out here. How do I hide this button with CSS? Now you are assuming that CSS is the problem out here. Maybe CSS is not the real issue, right? A better way would be the submit button should only appear after all required fields are filled in. Right now, it's visible from the start. Should this be handled in front-end validation? So see how you put this differently and it makes it different. See how this revised communication makes so much of difference. So don't talk about your guest solution out here, right? Some useful phrases out here. I'm stuck on specific task. I've already tried X and Y. I checked, mentioned the source documentation, but I'm still not sure about specific point. I'm trying to real goal, but what's going wrong? I thought the solution might be your possible solution, but I'm not sure. Could someone point me in the right direction? So those are some of the useful phrases in section number 2. We have another one. Has anyone run onto this before? That's last, so those are some of the phrases you could try in section number 2, which is when you're stuck. Section number 3 is when you need more information. Now, friends, what I mean by needing more information is that you need more information, which could be a pointer, a second opinion, a missing detail, something to help you make the right decision. Now, in this situation, the next thing you can do, the best thing you can do is be clear about what you need. Now, this is where clear communication will matter. You need to be clear about what you need. Let's understand some useful phrases. Now, here are a few useful phrases for section number 3. Does anyone know where I can find the latest pricing deck? Who's the best person to ask about the client's onboarding flow? Could someone point me in the right place for API documentation? Does anyone have context on why this deadline moved? Just checking, are we still using HubSpot for new leads? Could I get a quick second opinion on the subject line? So these are some of the phrases you can use when you just want information, right? Because without this information, you are not very sure and you just want some right information. So friends, a quick recap. There are 3 common ways to ask for help at work. When it's urgent, I already talked about that. You talk about urgency plus relevant context. Urgent, the checkout page is returning a 500 error. Could someone from backend please take a look? So that's situation number 1. Number 2, when you're stuck, use what you tried plus a specific question. I checked the docs and refresh the token, but I'm still getting a 401 error. What else should I check? Number 3, when you need more information, use the missing piece, why you need it. Right? Example, do we have notes from the last client call? I want to make sure my update matches what they've asked for. So friends, those are the 3 situations in which you can ask for help, and your communication, how you ask for help, is going to matter a lot. So friends, I hope you've enjoyed this video. And if you have, please give me a like, and please do share this video with people who are introverts and who fear asking for help, because communication skills do matter when you're asking for help. Thank you so much, and I will see you in the next one.